Hello everyone, Switched Arbor here. In this video, I'm going to talk about one unique theory about based from the episode The Cutie Remark Part 2 and 1. And especially in one of those ultimate timelines where Nightmare Moon actually won against Celestia and banished her to the moon instead for Luna. What if this universe that even after 1,000 years that again Nightmare Moon managed to banish Luna and Celestia again to the moon for a second time and still had taken over? Like, what if that she managed to gather all the villains, Chrysalis, Sombra, even Tirak, perhaps Starlight Glimmer and Sunset Shimmer as villains, or perhaps that she found Sunset Shimmer and Starlight and took them as her apprentice or personal students and teaching them about dark magic spells in the Sakura, like that Sombra could be there, also that kind of teacher teaching them about Shadow Pony magic, and then Chrysalis can teaching them about shape-shifting power. Also in this particular timeline, what if that Chrysalis had actually taken Cadence as her own minion by brainwashing her and like hypnotizing her, and that she obey Chrysalis no whatever she asked her for. And then that Nightmare Moon is not only the princess anymore, that she is the queen of an entire kingdom, and that their power, combined with all their magic or powers, has even taken over Equestria, Hippogriffs, the Griffin Stone, Meritonia, Central Arabia, have taken over all the other kingdoms out there for themselves, and perhaps they have been dividing from, like Sombra is ruling the Crystal Empire, and that Chrysalis is taking over the Candelot, and that Sunset and Starlight perhaps are sharing one combined part of the kingdom or another kingdom. That could actually happen if if Nightmare Moon actually defeated Celestia the first time and managed to take over and put Equestria into eternal night. But that is another question. And also that even we saw in the episode itself that the main six, if that rainbow has never happened, the main six will never get together as friends. We saw that Rarity and Rainbow was actually serving Nightmare Moon. So it is possible the others wasn't even friends at all, and that they was serving either Chrysalis or Sombra, or at least all of them serving Nightmare Moon, or a separate service, separate parts. But the question is, how would they be easily to take over Equestria and other kingdoms over like 1,000 years? Well, it is possible even if Celestia and Luna didn't banish Sombra 1,000 years earlier, then he would have still been in control of the Crystal Empire even to the modern age at the same time, and that Chrysalis could have been found by some about Nightmare Moon's scouts in the changing kingdom, even though that she could easily take over the kingdom, but then offered her a position within her power, with her dominion, and that she could still ruling the changing kingdom by herself, but still serving under Nightmare Moon, which that under one condition, that she would have as much love she needs to feed on. Then I think Chrysalis would accept that part, as long as she had all the love she needs that she and her other Jenkins could survive. She would still serve beneath Nightmare Moon. But otherwise, that would not be accepted, If that she turns out, if she had been declined the offer, she would probably rebel against Nightmare Moon, but easily been defeated because Nightmare Moon is more powerful and she doesn't have any love, so that her and the changelings would never be able to feed on her, and the Sombra could also easily defeat since he is a shadow pony and have a cold heart. That could actually happen, or that if Chrysalis just allowing to rule her kingdom under beneath the rule of Nightmare Moon and was allowed to have unlimited supplies of love from ponies or other creatures as long as she has enough love for her and the rest of her kind, she would serve Nightmare Moon without question her orders. But how about Sombra? He would only do it one rule for the Empire from the first time he saw it. But then in that particular episode, when we Starlight traveling back in time, we see that he has tried to expand his part of that particular empire to across, trying to take over Questia, but at the same time wasn't fighting a war against Celestia and him. So that is possible that even that Sombra realized he was actually still allowed to have control the Crystal Empire and perhaps expand his kingdom to a certain length, and that was the power, and that he still has the power, and he could be being given has the Griffin Stones as the Griffin's homeland as part of his kingdom as well. So he would be probably would satisfied to having the Empire and the Griffin's homeland under his control, and that Chrysalis having Canterlot and her own kingdom as well combined, and that Sunset and Starlight having some mother kingdom perhaps they are taking over Central Arabia under their control, and that's as long that in that Moon Nightmare Moon is maintaining order with her own dominion, and that she is the top boss of all of them. That she is the only one who gives order to them, and they make sure those orders actually works. Even make sure every rebellion, even if it's for like ponies, griffins, dragons, any of those trying to rebel against Night Moon, who has always been using their combined forces from the Changelings, the Crystal Empire, and from Night Moon combined into one force, managed to stop the rebellion's fights, even to be like a full-scale war. And then they had to try to force every those creatures, all those former kingdoms, to serve under beneath Night and Moon or be destroyed. They had all of those conditions, and I had to think, rather than being destroyed completely, they had to serve under beneath Night and Moon, under perhaps as she had placed some of her lieutenants. Let's say that Chrysalis, Sombra, Sunset Shimmer, and Starlight are all of them are lieutenants under beneath Nightmare Moon, and one of them that in that Sunset could have been placed in a Riderlands as the perhaps the governor, make sure that Sunset the Nightmare Moon's control remains there. There are no other forces like a rebellion against Nightmare Moon, or they will be destroyed. They had to place in throughout history, like having some pony placed in those particular former kingdoms, to make sure that Nightmare Moon's order is maintained, and no other forces try to rebel against them to free them and fight against Nightmare Moon ever. That could actually happen. Ever since the main six never met, like be friends, or the night the Sonic Rainbow never appeared, never happened, and all those things that could happen with that. Nightmare Moon banished her sister again for the second time to maintain her rule over Questia and beyond, and having Sombra, Chrysalis as her lieutenants, keeping their own particular empires or their kingdoms, but still serving beneath Nightmare Moon just in order to keep themselves safe and their kingdoms not to be destroyed. Having those particular serving beneath Night Moon perhaps feeling her pleasant, very powerful, having some strong form with other strong villains or other strong leaders still serving underneath her so that she can maintain the order of her big, big empire or some sort. Even if that empire could have still been suffering from minor rebellion, even those quickly dealt with, like if there were some griffins, ponies, and dragons combined some of their small rebel forces together into one bigger force, trying to overthrow Nightmare Moon and restore peace to every country again. Even though even if the griffins, ponies, and the dragons combine, even though they still hate each other over the cause of this happened, but they had to trust each other and work together and stop Nightmare Moon, even though those forces might be small and almost like no force is strong enough to beat her. Except for one particular element, the elements of harmony. Even if the main six were not to be around, like what if that some other opponents could have found and used the elements against Night and Moon and bring back Celestia? But even though I don't think that would not possible, because then it is possible that Night and Moon know about that if any opponent could find the elements, can use them against her and the others. Perhaps then she had them either destroyed or locked them away somewhere only that she knows exactly where, just in safety that no opponent will use the elements against her or any other lieutenants so that she can maintain her order, her power at this big empire. Even if I have to say, this theory that Nightmare Moon managed to take over Equestria first time a thousand years ago, managed to defeat her own sister, sending her to the moon, and when she had the ability to come back a second time, she managed to send her away a second time again, and that she has Chrysalis, Sombra, Starlight, Sunset Shimmer under her beneath as lieutenants, and all of them serving under their particular certain areas, like Chrysalis with her own kingdom in Canterlot, Sombra with, let's say, Crystal Empire, with Griffithstone, and Sunset has ruling over the Dragonlance, and Starlight could have all ruled over some other part of some other kingdom somewhere else, but just maintain Nightmare Moon's order. If she found out some of her lieutenants and trying to conspire behind her back, trying to overtake her place as the new ruler, but that wouldn't even work because they know just one of them could never be, has not powerful enough to defeat Night and Moon. But all of them together, I doubt that even work out because Night and Moon would probably realize it. And I think that Chrysalis, even as she'd been offered to help, been asked to help stop Night and Moon, and they themselves control Equestria and beyond together. Even if they fail, there is probably that Chrysalis realized if she failed and or has even tried to join this force against Time and Moon, she and her kind would be immediately destroyed. Her kingdom would be completely wiped out, and she would probably be killed like many of her kind as well. And Sombra also could realize if he joins any forces together with others, he realized he could lose his empire and his second part of the empire he rules. And that he doesn't want to make that happen. And that Starlight, perhaps she wants to maintain her small kingdom of her own, even as she's still serving beneath Sniper Moon, and that Sunset also is still like Starlight, a student to Nightmare Moon as still a lieutenant serving in Dragonlance. Overall, I don't doubt that Nightmare Moon could have taken over Equestria twice, but sending her own sister away and using the combined forces with Sunset, Sombra, Chrysalis and Starlight together, serving beneath her and maintain her giant empire, her big empire, her own power over the Mania. Since we saw in the particular episode that Nightmare Moon has taken over the Equestria a second time, which helped Dashmichi maintain the order. So it is possible that if she managed to defeat Celestia a second time and combining to put the other villains together, they will have unstoppable force and make sure even if Celestia returns a third time, she will easily be quickly defeated and sent away to Moon again. Even that happens, that could actually make this almost unquestionable, defeatable in this theory. So if Nightmare Moon managed to defeat Celestia second time and finding out in recruit Sombra, Chrysalis, Starlight, and Sunset in her empire, and so that Chrysalis is still allowed to use to control her own kingdom, and that she was given Candelot as part of her kingdom as well, and that she is given unlimited allot for any creatures they had in this empire, and as long as she's serving beneath Nightmare Moon, she is allowed to have as much love so that she can feed herself and her sons. And even Sombra, who is usually want to have entire Crystal for herself, but originally had the Crystal Empire and another kingdom for himself, but still serving beneath Nightmare Moon as a lieutenant. I think he would be okay with that, even serving underneath Nightmare Moon, but still having control over the Crystal Empire as like a governor, make sure that Nightmare Moon's maintained, that her order is maintained, and that she is the supreme ruler of all Equestria and beyond. That is what I believe used in this particular video and this spirit. I know that many fans within the fandom thinks that this particular video might be just overthrown and over having even been researched enough, but I say I only base from what I believe. I know that many fans within the fandom thinks that this could actually be happening if Nightmare Moon had the opportunity to make this happen and recruit Chrysalis, Sombra, Starlight, and Sunset in her power, and make so that keep them in one different place to make sure that that part of the empire that she recently conquered is still maintain the order of her new power. So, if any of my fans or viewers have your own opinion about this particular theory, that if Sombra, Chrysalis, Starlight, Sunset can be lieutenants under beneath Nightmare Moon, and that they are allowed to keep their part of this new empire, but still serving beneath Nightmare Moon, do you think that she could actually manage to take over the quest a second time, like in the episode, and maintain this big empire, like conquering other kingdoms and having those other villains serving her as lieutenants, but they are keep their part, their own originally kingdoms, and have their own place to rule, as long as they serving under beneath Nightmare Moon. I would like to hear what all of you think about this particular video, and you can leave all this in the comment section below, and as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch Diablo, over and out.